Well, hello, hello, hello. How is everyone tonight? Do you love candy and Halloween and would like something to put your candy in? Then you will want to watch my live starting now. I have prepared a couple of things for this live, and I have chalked on some buntings that I have made on my embroidery machine. You don't have to have an embroidery machine to do this with. You could just cut out banner shapes and sew them or glue them and leave an opening in the back so that you can run a string through there. A twine or rope, almost any kind of a string. On the front of these will say candy, and I started working for a company called Couture, and one of the cute screen prints that we have was called Only for the Candy, and I thought this would be so cute to serve the trick-or-treaters with. So when I do this, I will put the C and the A together, and the N and the D and the Y on one. I prepared them just to save a little time, but I will show you the image or the silk screen that I used to get my design on with. One thing with your silk screens is you will want to write on the back of them, and a lot of them come in a great big sheet, and then you just cut them apart. It will have lines where you can cut them apart. The candy on this was all one word, but I decided to separate them so that I could put them and place them where I want to. The reason you want to write on the back is so that you know this is the back side. When you go to stick your image back on, you can reuse these images for anywhere from 8 to 10 times, sometimes more, depending on how you take care of them. You clean them off in running water or soak them in a bath, but if you soak them in water, you don't want to soak them for a real long period of time. So you peel that off, and you want to be careful not to stretch it. So try not to grab the corners and pull from corner to corner. It's better to try and get it in the middle and then pull down. So I will center these where I want on my image. And you want to make certain that you get all the bubbles out. And I don't think that's quite where I want it. I have some lines here I can follow on my sewing lines, so I think I'm going to try and follow that better. And I will get these all prepared, and then we will chalk. There, now I have that down. And I think I'm going to move this just slightly. You will also want to fuzz your transfers, and these particular ones I fuzzed ahead of time to get them ready. And they're going also on fabric, so anytime they're going on fabric, you don't have to worry as much about them sticking and not coming back up. see, that end was pretty big, so I think it'll be just perfect between there. And then we'll do the D and the Y. Hoping you can see this here. It's looking to me like you can. So I've got my D down, and now I'll do my Y. And I could have cut a little more off on the Y, so I'm going to have to try and figure out where I want my Y at. Because some of it will be overhanging here on the edge. Now, one of the things we carry to help get the bumps and bubbles out is we sell this great big squeegee, and this is perfect for going across your images and making certain you have no bubbles or bumps. Now we also sell an ink. Today I'm going to use the chalk paste on this. Normally on fabrics you would use an ink. Let me grab an ink and I can show you what the inks look like. Our ink jars have white lids, and the ink you will need to heat set. This I will need to let dry or heat set at the end after it dries. I could also blow dry it with my heat gun or a blow dryer and then heat set it, but it kind of feels like acrylic paint on this felt, so I'm not too worried about it coming off. It's not going to be out in the rain, so I think we're going to be okay if I even just wanted to leave it and not heat set it. Okay, I've been debating if I was going to do the black or the orange, but I kind of would like to get the orange in there. I know blue's a little different for Halloween, but I have a turquoise door that I love on my front door, so I kind of just wanted this to match. Now when you open, I'm going to set two of these aside, and we'll just do one, and I'll get my paste ready. When you open these, they come with the foil on them, and we're going to need to pop that foil. And you'll need to mix this up. Let me go to my Facebook live stream and see how we're doing and see how it's recording, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. Let me finish wiping this off and then I'll do that. And see, there's a lot on the lid, so you want to get as much of it off as you can because there's no sense in having it wasted. And it goes a long ways. Now let me grab, another thing you're going to want to have handy is your baby wipes or disinfectant wipes. It's nice to have the disinfectant wipes because at the end, after you've washed your images and as they start to dry, you can wipe your images down with the disinfectant wipe and it will make your images re-tacky again. Okay, so let me just check to see if I'm live here. If you'll hold on just a second. Make your images re-tacky again. Yeah, and I'm live, and okay, so let me just check. Let me see if I can turn the volume down so that you're not getting the sound. All of this is brand new to me. There, so now I can watch without the sound. I apologize for that. Like I say, I'm learning some things. So your paste here, you have two ways to stir this up. This is a makeup spatula, and this is a multi-tool, a tool that we carry at Couture. And it gets in tight places when you're trying to put this on your images and you need it to get into a tight space with your chalk. This multi-tool is great. So I'm going to stir this up with my spatula and my makeup spatula, and it needs to be a yogurt-like consistency, which is what it is looking like to me. I don't know if you can see that, but that looks pretty much like yogurt. And that's how you want it to be. If it's not, you can take a little spray bottle with water in it and you can put a couple of squirts in it and make it thinner. But you don't want to get it too thin either. Just mostly yogurt consistency. And then I can clean that off now. And we're ready to start putting the chalk paste on. Let me just clean it off real quick. Okay, this is one of our squeegees that we carry, and this is a narrow one. They also have one that's a little bit wider here, and then we also carry this one that is an angled squeegee. Has lots of different angles on it, and that's also a nice one. But I'm going to just use my narrow one. It fits very well in the jar and it's easy to use. The long wide one you can cut into like 3 pieces and make that work. So this paste goes a long way, so you just want a little bit. You start at the top and dab a little bit on there. You don't want to go over the edge because you don't want to get it on your fabric if possible, which I can see I just got a little spot there. I'm going to try and go this other direction with it. I should have maybe cut and did the smaller little squeegees. That might have been perfect because we just have such a narrow image we're doing. Now another thing is you can clean it off and then scrape it in your jar. Save as much of it as you can. There's no sense in wasting it. And then we can go on to the A, and we'll do the A. And I noticed when I was doing my bunting parts that the felt uses a little more chalk paste than you'll notice when you're doing it on boards. So I am new to this chalk couture business, and this is actually only the second thing I have ever chalked. So I'm learning right along with the rest of you. But there's so many cute and fun home decor items you can do with this chalk paste. So we're lifting that up. I see a spot there that didn't quite stick, so I'm going to see if I can get it to stick down a little better. Okay, now we'll try and lift it. Yeah, that's better. Oh, there's another little spot. Sometimes just leaving them makes it look more vintage. So I think you'll find more spots on like this felt because of the texture of the felt. Oh, and there's a spot up there that looks like it I didn't get it pushed hard enough. So we'll get that worked in there. There, we're getting it. I think on the A, before I peel it up, I'm gonna make certain it's worked in a little more. Okay, so because I don't have time to wash this off right now, I'm going to put this in my water upside down. And I'll just let it float there. But as soon as I'm done with the live, I will go clean it off immediately. So when I'm making certain this is worked in a little more, I could see I needed to do that on that last one, so we'll try this again and see what we can do here. Okay, and I'm trying to pull from the center of this. There's one little spot there I can see that I would like to try and get a little bit in there. And there we have it. Let me put this other image in the water. Now I see a couple little spots that I should have been trying to be a little more careful, but let's see if I can get it off with my alcohol wipe at the top here. Not, I could probably come in with a paintbrush and a little bit of that blue, but I think I got it. So there's that with the orange. I think I like the orange. I was debating, like I said, between the orange and the black, but the orange will be cute. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry for a bit. And we'll move on to our end and see if we can get the end to turn out. Let me make certain I'm still in the camera here. A lot of people start at the top, which I could, I guess. I think for this little image, it doesn't really matter. You just want to get it in there good. Yeah, I have an embroidery machine that I have a designer that I like better, and one of her patterns is this bunting, but they could easily be made without the embroidery machine. You could even just cut a piece of felt and hot glue over the top, and just so you could run your little string through there. So there's lots of ways it could be done. Okay, I'm just gonna go over it and make certain that's rubbed in really good before I peel this up. The other thing is when you're doing your actual images, like if you're chalking on a board, you don't want to let it sit too long or it will pull some of the chalk back up and it won't work properly. So sometimes you have to do colors in sections. Now that turned out really good. That was a little easier than the other one. So I'm happy with that. Now we'll move this to the side and we're going to do the D and the Y. Oh, and I never did tell you what color this chalk paste is. This is pumpkin pie that I chose to use. And I like to add a label to the front on the underneath side of our chalk paste. It'll say, like this blue one that I used is peacock, and it says that underneath there, but if I have it on the front, then I know exactly what it is without turning it over. So we'll just move on here to the D and the Y. This really isn't a very hard project. It may take a little bit of time and maybe more time because I'm demoing it, but it would be way fun. I know you may be watching this after Halloween, but you could always get the stuff. We still might have the transfer. I forgot to check. We still might have the transfer that you could buy. And you could get it all ready for next year. My tin that I'm going to use, or my bucket, I bought at Walmart, and I'll show you that in just a little bit here. It's a Better Homes and Garden round tub. The reason I went with that, because it was a little deep, not quite so big. Everything I was finding was huge, and I just didn't think it was necessary to have it any bigger than this, because this still will hold lots of candy. Plus this will be easier to hold when you're serving your trick-or-treaters out of it. We had a lot of trick-or-treaters this year. I know I should have had this done. I was trying to get it done, but it just didn't quite happen. So I figured better late than never. Still might as well finish it for this next year. Just a little bit more here on this Y. And we want to check it and make certain it's rubbed in really good everywhere. If you got any excess, remember you can clean that off and save it so that you're saving money that way. Okay, so that part looks like it's done and ready. In fact, that's probably the way I should have held it so you guys could see it properly. Here I am telling you not to pull in the corner, and I did, but you just have to be careful that you don't stretch your images. I'm going to put this Y in the water and let it soak. Okay, now I'm doing the D. At the top there, I think I want to fix that. Looks like it needs just a little more up in that corner. So let's try that. Nope, still right there. I'm wanting to get that rubbed in good. There, now I got it. And the rest of it was fine. So I think that turned out cute. Soaking this other one in my water. Now we don't want to let those soak too long because it's better not to let them soak too long. So I'm going to put this aside and let this dry for a little bit. And then I will show you the image that I used for my background on my bunting. And this is called Houndstooth. I have cut this in half because I didn't need a full sheet, and it's easier to work with smaller pieces if you can. So I just laid the 3 pieces on here like this. So I did 1, and then 2, and then 3. Was able to get all 3 on there, so it worked out really nice. And as you can see, my transfer looks a little blue. Maybe you can see that, but I cleaned it off good, and it's not going to hurt it at all to be a little stained. Okay, let me show you the bucket. I'll peel this label off of the bucket so that you can see what you're looking for. So when you go to Walmart, this is what you're going to look for. It's a round tub, galvanized, and seems like it was about $8. I can't exactly remember, but I think that's about what it was. And it's a Better Homes and Garden So that'll help you to know what to look for. They carry it all the time. And this is the actual bucket. I don't know if you can tell, but it's big. So it's going to be hard to see this. In fact, when we're done with the whole thing, I'm probably going to have to just take a picture and post a picture along with my video. Okay, I have prepared some other things. I painted this chalkboard, and I added a stick to the chalkboard. And on the back of the stick, I have added magnets. The magnets make it so this sign can stand up in your candy bucket. And let's see, and I can tell you the chalkboard was a plaid chalkboard. I also think I found that at Walmart for just a couple of bucks. So this is really inexpensive. You could use for your sticks. You could use a paint stick. Anything that you can find that's kind of narrow. I ended up using the wedges that you can get at Home Depot, and they're little wedges, and I had to glue 3 together. I don't know if you can see that, but it still worked out good, and it made for a good, that's the back of it. So everything was just hot glued on, even my little magnets. So let's move on, and we'll start chalking the board. I think the love I'll do in blue, and I think the other parts I'll do in the orange. The other thing is, well, I also have white, so I could decide on the white. But right here, I have a candy corn. The image came with a cute candy corn. And so the first thing we'll chalk is that part. And then we'll do I've marked which section they are. So you got 1, and then you got 2, and then you got 3, which that's in the middle, and then you got the white part. And then you can chalk that part in the black. So we'll try that and see how that turns out on there. So let's see. I think for sure I want to do this in blue. And the white might be fun too, to get the white in there. I could chalk all this in white and then just have the orange and the blue there. Maybe that's what we should try. Let me see if I can find my white here. So the white is called bright white. It hasn't been, oh, I guess it is open. I can't remember what I used it on, but it's open. So I will take my spatula, and this is thick, so I don't know, I will have to spray some stuff in this. Because as you can see, there's no way that's yogurt consistency. So sometimes after it's been opened up, it can do that. Oh, I probably used this when I went to and did my first image at my leader's house. That's probably, and it's just had time to thicken up. So what I'll do is I'll put a spritz or 2 of water in here, and we will stir it in until we get a yogurt consistency. I think it could be just a little thinner, so I'm going to put a couple of more squirts in. That's a lot better. It's getting better. Can you guys see that now? That's perfect. That looks like yogurt now. Okay, so I'll clean my spatula off. You always want to get that out of there and out of the way. And then we can move on to chalking that. You also want to make certain your hands are always clean, because otherwise you get the chalk everywhere. So I'm going to need a new squeegee. So I've grabbed a new one. And I'm going to start with the eye. And do my eye here. I'm going to put some over here because I got a lot on there. More than I needed. Just need to get that down there. I can see why they cut and a lot of times use the small squeegee. Cut those ones because some of these areas could use small, or the multi-tool would be good for that. And I put these on previously just to save on time a bit. Now the actual thing says I'm here for the candy, but that wasn't fitting on my thing, so I changed it to I only love candy. So let me peel these off before they dry. I want to get that down there a little better. My paste maybe could have been just a teeny bit thinner, is what I'm wondering, as it's drying out pretty fast. I thought it looked chalk or like yogurt, but that's better. Not at the top, wanting to pull up, it's so dry already. And that's where that's why you want to get these pulled up as fast as possible. Hold on, I'm trying to, it's so sticky, I'm trying to get it off my finger. I fuzzed the transfer before, but it's still wanting to stick. Yeah, this is dried too fast already. I can see that because it's pulling up. Let me see if I can wet it or go back over it. Sometimes they dampen it with a rag. But I also don't want it to and let me see if I can put some more down. I'm gonna not take it off. I'm just gonna leave it thick this time till I get that thinned out better. It's still right there, wanting to still stick. Well, I'm learning here. Well, and I can go back in with a paintbrush. Maybe that's what I'm going to have to do on this one. In a couple of spots, I'll just touch that up with a paintbrush. And I'm going to have to thin out my paste better. I thought it was a lot like yogurt, but it's really sticking bad. I promise you they don't all turn out like this, because I've seen some good lives and people are doing a great job with them. Let me see if I can get this thinner here. It's just a little bit too thick. I thought it was good, but it was a little thicker than it should have been. I don't know if you can't even see me mixing this up, I guess. Or the video's not caught up. I say this is my first time, so now I can see that you're seeing that. Yeah, I'm getting it a lot thinner. It just was way too thick. But they say not to get it too thin either, so I gotta be careful here. Okay, I'm gonna wipe off my squeegee because it was so dry. And we'll try the down below and see if we can do better with this. So you can hopefully see that it's really not that hard if you have the right consistency. Okay, I've cleaned that off. And we will start with the E because these are separately cut. Remember, you want to just try and pull from the middle. See how much better that was? That turned out great. And maybe instead of touching up my only, I'll clean my transfer. And then in the picture you'll see that it's been fixed. Okay, and these two are coming up together. Because they ended up sticking together. So see how that turned out much better than up above. So my paste was not the right consistency, so you just want to make certain it's a good yogurt consistency. And mine looked like yogurt, but it was probably just too thin. So, and I think I'll just leave that only, and I'll redo it after the live and make it look better. Okay, so from there, let me get, since my white's drying out so fast, let me cover my white up. And we'll go on to the blue. I had the blue out the other day, but we're gonna stir it again and see what the consistency's like. Actually, this doesn't look too bad from what I can tell, so we'll try it. Okay, and I got a new squeegee here, and I'll dip this in the blue. And remember, a little goes a long ways, so start at the top there and pull down. Have to get just a had more on my squeegee than I thought, so I'm just going to try and use it instead of getting more. Okay, so we got that, and then we're going to peel. You have to sometimes start at the corner to peel, but from there you can, let me see what the white is. I don't know whether it's a white fleck or no, that's how the transfer is. I thought maybe it was pulling the paint up again, but it's not, or the chalk. one spot there. I think I need to go back over. Oh, and I think the image is like that. It's got some marks there, which I didn't realize that it did. So there's that, the love. Now another thing I didn't tell you was, because I didn't use a chalk couture image or board, chalkboard, I bought this Johnson's paste wax, and you can get this at Home Depot or Lowe's, and you rub this on your chalkboard surface. That makes it so that this stuff doesn't stick so bad to your image or to your boards. So that's important, and I did that first with this. Okay, now from here, I want to start with my candy. So we'll do the white. And I'm gonna refuzz this. I'll show you how to just take a terry cloth of some kind or a microfiber cloth and just put it on there, and you fuzz it that way, and you just keep fuzzing it. You do that about 3 or 4 times. And then we'll put this on here where we think it needs to go. Remember, you're trying to get all the air bubbles out. I see a bubble there, so that's... Let me grab the squeegee. I think I'm going to have to use the smaller one on this. Oh, I see a bubble there, so we'll... There, I got the bubbles out, looks like. So, let me open the white again. Because this is the one that needs the white. And I'm cleaning off my white squeegee just to make certain from it being so dry before. We'll start at the top. I should have maybe looked at candy corn, but I think the white's at the top, but maybe I'm wrong. But I guess mine's going to be at the top. Now I got a dab on my board, but that'll come right off with a wet wipe, so I'm just going to leave it and we'll worry about that later. Okay, I think we're ready to peel. Let me get the lid on this white. Oh, that turned out way cute. So that went on well that time. Running out of spots for my images in my pan, because you don't want them to stick to each other if you can help it. Let me see if I can get this white off right there so I can show you how easy it just comes right off. The other thing is I could touch that back up with some paint. There's a spot up here that I think I rubbed off earlier. So I'll just get my paintbrush out and touch that up. Okay, now this has to dry before I can put another layer on. So I'm going to grab my blow dryer and we will see if we can dry this. I think that's good. Seems to be dry. Okay, so that was number 1. And now we'll do number 2, which is the bottom. So now, should I do the bottom blue or orange? I'm almost thinking we want orange. And then I'll do blue in the middle. Let me turn this so I can see if I can get it lined up a little better. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, and I'm just going to do the blue. Oh, I was going to do orange. Well, it's blue now. So, I guess we're doing the blue. It probably won't matter. It'll be just as cute either way, I bet. The reason I thought orange was because it's right next to the blue board, but it'll work. Sorry this is being such a long video. They won't all be this long. Okay, and I need to get that blue covered up because it's starting to dry also. It's probably better to cover them up as fast as you can. Yeah. because it kind of went in speckly. Let me see what this other side did. I might have to re-put it on. Let me clean my squeegee and add some stuff to that. I shouldn't have left it open. Use that for a minute and see if we can retry this real quick and get it taken off as fast as we put it on there. Nope, it's still not going through. Let me see if I can wet my transfer a bit. So it probably really dried on the transfer. So we'll get it wet here and let me lift it up and see what happened. Oh, that made it go in better. So let me it pushed a lot of that in there. You see if I can go over it real quick with one more coat. Yeah, that's a lot better. I can touch that couple of those spots up over there with my brush. Good thing there's not too many more images because I'm running out of room. I have my brush right here, so I'm just going to do that really quick. You can see how easy it is just to touch it up. Okay, and I've got to let my brush out a second. I've got to let that dry, so I'm going to have to put the blow dryer on it. So we'll do that real quick. I think we got that. And then our next layer is going to be the orange. Let me get the lid on this blue.